actually working for once. Our first match is going to be NNK's Pico versus QTclub's Dark. Dark, the Salt Lord, the Edge Lord, your favorite player, who rage quitted the clan war last week by lifting up all his buildings when he lost to a Ravager rush. Give it up for QTclub's Salt Lord, Dark. And in the bottom left, we have Pico! Pico, Pico! Pico the man. Look, the supply depot, exciting times. Dark is creating a supply depot. Look at how exciting this is. Supply depot is 50% complete, 60%, 70, 80% complete. And it's 100% complete. Meanwhile, Overlords are going to be moving very slowly across the map. Let us track the journey of the Overlord, since this is probably the most interesting thing in the beginning of a game. Actually, I can't track the Overlord, I'm just scrolling along with the Overlord. Follow the Overlord to the journey of its lifetime. Overlords. Are Overlords actually conscious beings? Do they have the mind of a human? I mean, do they have consciousness? That's quite an interesting question. But anyway, looks like Dark's going to be sending an SCV out onto this map. Across the map, diagonally straight across and left, I guess. And it seems like that one of the observers is actually... I have no idea what language that is. Maybe it's Polish, maybe it's Russian. I don't think it's Russian, it's probably Polish. Or something that I am unfamiliar with. However, we're going to be waiting for Dark's second command center to start up, which starts up right now. And meanwhile, Pico's Overlord is still going to be moving slowly across the map. Slowly across the map. Whoops. Those minimap hotkeys are really getting me. Anyway, we're going to be seeing the SCV returning back to its hometown, because that's where it should be. And that's where it will be going. But I'm curious to see whether Dark is going to be very salty this time if he loses to a Zergling. For those of you who didn't tune in to my stream last week, Dark, losing to a Ravager rush, he decided to lift up all his buildings and float them to the corners of the map, whilst the entire panel of observers waited for him to tap out, which occurred after quite a few minutes after he actually lost. So hopefully Dark's in a better mood today and he won't do such a thing again, because if he did do such a thing it would be quite embarrassing, but probably reflective of one's emotional mood at the time when losing to rushers. Nobody likes losing, but we have to lose one way or another, to be honest. One way or another, we lose at life. The Reaper is going to attempt to single out some Zerglings, and it looks like the Zerglings are a little bit too slow for the Reaper, and the drone actually gets turned into a third hatchery for Pico. Meanwhile, the Marines back home are going to be starting to be built, trained, built. Oh, I bet Marines are trained and factory units are built, in case you didn't know that. Yes, in fact they specifically use the key terms. In the bottom right you can see that the medevac is building and Marines are training, so that's obviously very crucial because you cannot build a Marine. Perhaps you can build the Marine's power armor suit and stuff like that, but you don't really build a Marine, do you? Looks like Zerglings are going to do a little bit of a run by, trying to scout what's going on. Dark actually doesn't manage to close the supply depot in time, so the Zergling gets a full scout of what's going on. And the Zergling is still in the base. And SCV manages to kill the Zergling. What a hero SCV. Let's have a look at the hero SCV who did it. Where's the hero SCV? There it is, the hero SCV. Anyway, looks like Dark is going to be adding on a couple more barracks, because he loves barracks and he loves playing bio, and he never goes mech because he doesn't know how to play mech. Perhaps that is the reason why he always goes bio. However, looks like this drop is going to be doing a little bit of damage, not too much. Two drones are going to be killed by this Widowmine drop. not particularly successful on, and if Dark manages to lose the medevac, that's going to be quite terrifying. That's going to be quite terrible, and Dark is going to lose his medevac to a couple of slow-moving queens. What was he thinking? Dark is messing up his micro big time. I mean, you've got nothing to do back at home right now. It's the early game. You certainly can't be macroing up that hard that you forgot to micro your medevac. That is inexcusable, I believe is the word. Anyway, this queen is going to be doing a little bit of pokey to the Liberator. Pokey. Fortunately, no significant damage was done with that Liberator harass, but the queens are going to be quite vulnerable if there's another drop coming into the main base of Pico, because the queens are all in this area, trying to ward off the Liberator. Liberator is not going to get any significant damage done. It did kill 5 drones, so it's better than nothing, you know, it's better than nothing. Looks like the Marines are just going to be hanging out. They're waiting for stim to complete, and I think that stim is actually nearly, well, I think Dark just started stim. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, Combat Shield actually completes much faster than stim, so stim is usually the preferred upgrade first, but when you have a double tech lab, you can just upgrade them both at the same time, so you don't need to worry about that. However, this Overlord is going to be hanging out about there, and if Dark was paying attention, he could fly a medevac to spot the high ground here and tell his Marines to shoot down that Overlord. But it looks like Dark's going for a very classic Marine Widowmine medevac style. He's not opting for any Marauders or tanks. He's just opting for pure mobility and splash damage against Pico's Lingbane Hydra army, I believe. Yes, it looks like Pico is going to be starting up his Hydralisk upgrades, and the Hydralisk upgrades are about halfway done, so Pico can start to push out whenever he pleases. And looks like Dark's 1-1 upgrades are nearly done, and I'm not sure what kind of lag was happening there. It must be the server side lag, I suppose. It could be my internet, but my internet has failed a couple of times in the past. But I think for the past few weeks, Blizzard's EU servers have been really terrible, and for those of you who aren't familiar with it, this tournament, this Alpha Team League, is played on the EU server, and if Blizzard's servers decide to suddenly completely die, then, you know, well, there's nothing we can do about it except complain about Blizzard being a small indie company with insufficient resources. But it looks like the Zerglings are going to start walking towards the Marines, but the Widow Mines, they just take out all of the Zerglings, and I'm a bit worried of Pico here. Pico's got nothing. Pico's got absolutely nothing in terms of army units. He's got a lot of drones, yes, he's got a lot of hatcheries, upgrades. I think Dark chose the perfect time to engage here. I mean, Dark is losing to counter-attack. He did lose a lot of SCVs to Baneling counter-attack, I believe, but Dark is doing some severe damage at this front, and I think that Pico, whilst he managed to take out a lot of Dark's workers at Dark's third base, I don't think it was enough to offset the loss of a mining base here. But Pico, he's trying to hold on to this game. He's trying his hardest, and Dark is still relying on pure Marine Widow Mine. And it looks like Dark isn't even producing any Widow Mines at this point. He's just opting for very aggressive bioplay. Dark, you need to do a little bit of two-pronged attack. I think leaving these Marines here is a little bit of a mistake. He could send the Marines over, up and across this area so that he will be able to spot this counterattack. Pico has very good map awareness and awareness of where Dark is, but it looks like Pico's expanding a little bit too aggressively, and one of his building bases does get forced to cancel, and Dark is continually going to start taking away these bases from Pico using this double medevac drop. And I'm afraid that, well, Dark's defenses have been quite good so far, and he's macroing up relatively well, so I have hope for Dark. Maybe he's not that salty today. Maybe he decided he got a cup of coffee, he drank a cup of Coke, drank a can of Coke. Who drinks Coke in a cup anyway? Except for me, probably. I never like to drink Coke in a can anyway. I prefer to pour it out, but if you're not into that sort of thing, then, well, I'm sorry. But looks like the Hydroling Bane army is going to be hanging out at Pico's currently building expansion. Whereas Dark stinted a lot of his marines just to repel that small counterattack that Pico was trying to do. But Dark, he's doing a little bit of a very Korean bio-based multitask, multi-prong harass style. He's doing quite well in that regard, and Dark is in a very, very, very superior supply lead right now. So once his 2-2 upgrades finish, as shown on the right hand side, I think that Dark will basically be able to steamroll through Pico's entire army, and thank the lords, QTclub is actually going to win this time, and actually win a non-pro. Oh, but look at the beautiful surround by Pico. He's making a last effort, and wow, those Banelings got very, very good connections. Pico, my man, you have absolutely top-notch map awareness. Pico used his advantage of knowing that Dark's army was here with the creep vision, the vision granted by the creep, and Pico just executed a beautiful two-pronged flank there, and he took out a significant number of Dark's marines. I mean, Dark messed up big time there. He was trying to force all of his marines into this choke point, whereas he should just have probably rotated around this way and tried to take down these rocks before engaging, because in a very, very small choke point, marines are very susceptible to Baneling splash damage. And Dark is starting to tech up now. He's getting his free, but I mean, it's getting a little bit of Liberators, but Pico's getting a lot of. He's going to start making Ultralisks, and these Ultralisks have chitinous plating, and Dark is still not looking to produce any Marauders at all. He's got so many tech labs, but he's not building any Marauders at all. What is he doing? Why is he only building pure marine? He's got 4 barracks with tech labs on them, and yet somehow he still feels that he only wants to build marines. Perhaps he hasn't noticed Pico's transition to Ultralist yet. Maybe he thinks that Ultralist transition isn't as dangerous as he thought, but I mean, once Pico gets like 3 to 5 Ultralists out, marines are just not going to do dipshit against those Ultralists. I mean, Liberators, yes, they're good, they zone out the army, but against a massive force of Ultralists, Liberators are going to be doing very little. But Dark set up a very good defense here. He's got sensor towers all up and around, but he's just letting the Zerg macro up. I think this is Dark's biggest mistake. His first mistake was taking that horrible engagement in this choke point right here, losing a majority of his marines. But I mean, the Ultralists are coming out, and Dark is going to have to find a really good engagement. So far, Pico has been showing me that he's better at map awareness, he's better at taking an engagement, he's better at the micro. But I'm a bit worried for Dark here. I mean, yes, he's got a lot of tanks, but Pico, he knows exactly where Dark's army is, and he's preparing another two-pronged flank. I mean, look at Pico. He's just building a ton of Banelings. He's decided, I know exactly where Dark's army is. I'm going to attack right there. I'm going to destroy it entirely, and there's nothing that Dark's going to be able to do. Because look at this juicy marine army. There's like 5 tanks. Yes, there's a Liberator, but really, is that really going to help? But Pico's messing up a little bit here. But he manages a beautiful 2-pronged flank again, but his Ultralists were a little bit behind, but with a large amount of Ultralists here, I mean, he's going to have to do something with these Ultralists. The Ultralists move slower than Zerglings and Banelings, so he didn't manage to nail that timing perfectly. But Pico, he's making Corruptors, he's making a lot of Zerglings. Look at the huge amount of Zerglings that just came out, and there are even more Ultralists. If Pico engages right now, Dark could be in a world of pain indeed. Dark scans, yes, he sees 3 Ultralists, he thinks that they are not a great threat, but what is Pico doing? He's doing another 2-pronged flank. Look at Pico, he's just doing all of the engagements so perfectly, so succinctly, and so precisely. Pico is like a covert operative, like he's just so good at doing these strikes. Like, he orders the strike and he has a perfect strategy, perfect setup. He knows exactly where Dark's army is, and with the massive amount of Zerglings hacking away at this planetary fortress, and these Ultralists just doing tons of work against Dark. I mean, so far it looks like Pico's losing a lot of his units, but remember, Pico is a Zerg, and he can just simply remax so quickly that Dark won't be able to blink before Pico's army is maxed out again. Pico's perhaps struggling a little bit with his economy. He's got a lot of economy. He's spending all his money, while Stark is probably not macroing up to the best because he hasn't added on enough production structures yet. But Pico so far has been showing me that he's really good at taking these engagements. He plans them out like a superbly talented man he is. And looks like Zerglings are doing a little bit of a backstab sort of style. But I mean, with this large number of Corruptors, these Liberators are just going to fall in a couple of seconds. But with the massive amount of tanks there, I think that Pico might have overstepped his boundaries a little bit, and Dark manages to take the win. But I've got to say, I've got to give the "you tried" star to Pico. He's been taking those engagements so perfectly. He's been absolutely crushing them in terms of engagement. But I think Dark, with his Liberator and Marine efficiency, probably won out in the end. So well done to both players indeed. Well done. So let's update the score. Let me update the score so that now it is 1-0 in favor of QTclub. And we'll be taking a short break before returning to the next game. So be right back. If the timer decides to work. There we go, 5-minute break. See you guys in 5 minutes. Hello everybody. Break's over, the game's about to start, and this match will be between... Oh well, I hope... Let's just get this match to start first. My computer's bugging out again. Indeed, it's going to be... Oh, no. I can't alt-tab for some reason. Fricking hell. I just need to double check that my OBS is actually working. It is working. And welcome to the second match of QTclub versus the NNK clan. And for the NNK clan, their Protoss player is Wieners. Or Wiener. Wieners. Wieners the Wiener. Wieners, okay. His name is Wieners, and in the top right we have QTclub's Court. A Terran versus Protoss. My favorite type of matchup, where the Terran will always lose to because of his salt mine. Sorry. But it should be easier for Terrans to win actually, now that Marauders are buffed. I do like Quartz color, it's sort of a light pinkish bluish sort of color. Very beautiful, I would say. And we're going to be seeing Court doing a standard barracks opener, I believe. Whereas Wieners is going to be doing his gateway first and a simulator. Oh yes. Oh yes, baby. Oh yes. And no, I'm not high today. I'm just a very, very poor man who's trying to talk to you guys to make the game interesting. And if you think my casting is boring, well, obviously I need to make it more interesting. So I'm going to be seeing a Reaper coming straight out along from Court. I really do like Court's color. I don't know why. It's such a nice, pure color. I don't know. Ugh. But anyway, Court is going to be building his second command center. And welcome to Probe vs SCV boxing competition, where the Probe escapes and heals up, whereas the SCV can't heal up. How unfortunate. We're going to be seeing a factory coming down straight after the barracks is done, and a reactor is going to be added on to the factory. I mean the barracks, what I'm talking about. And Cybernetics Core is going to start researching Warpgate. Warpgate, come on, oh Warpgate. Warpgate is good for Warpgate. The Warpgate and the Nexus are one. And 20th anniversary decal for Wieners is most fascinating indeed. What's Court's decal? Just this boring old decal. Looks like Court's second refinery is going to be completed. He's going to start mining some gas from there. But so far we haven't seen a lot of action from both players. Both are playing out to a macro game. So far we haven't seen a lot of cheesy games in these Alpha League non-pro tournaments. Which is a pity. I do like a little bit of cheese, you know. Because a pizza without cheese is never pizza. For pizza to be a real pizza, there must be three things. The base, the tomato sauce, and the cheese. And the tomato sauce is the player, of course. Wait, no. Is the player the crust, I mean the dough of the pizza, or is the player the tomato sauce? Because the crust, technically the dough is the actual game of StarCraft. Tomato sauce is the player, and then cheese, tomato sauce holds the cheese and the dough together, so players can opt whether they want to put cheese on top or not. But what am I talking about? Why am I talking about pizzas when Hellions are roasting adepts for breakfast? Roasted adept, #1 dish in the Terran's new menu for Rainer's Bar. I don't know. What am I talking about? Anyway. I must say these Hellions are going to be doing a little bit of harass, but due to the fact and nature of this particular map. Oh, but Court manages that Reaper Grenade, but holy moly, Wieners just walls off. He doesn't want any Hellions getting into space. And he cancels that gateway, losing a little bit of minerals, but you know, nothing that drastic. And Hellions are going to be returning to home, having done no damage at all, which is a pity. Well, except they killed one Adept, I suppose. Court did have like 4 Hellions, but he only has 2 Hellions now, so that's a pity. That's a big fat pity indeed. Big fat pity. What is Winas going to do? I have no idea what he's going to do. He's so far been playing very passively. He's just completed Blink, I think, so he has Blink on the Stalkers now, and he's going to be doing a little bit of Warp Prism. Harass, probably a Blink Stalker Harass maybe here, or I'm not sure whether Stalkers can blink from here to here. It's going to be quite difficult. Or maybe, I can't really find any opening where Blink Stalkers will actually be good. I mean, if he blinks Stalkers here, and he moves all the way across, maybe inside to this sort of location, maybe he could do a little bit of damage. I'm not sure though. Stalkers aren't as fast as Hellions, but Warp Prisms are relatively fast, so there's the good thing about that. What kind of upgrades does either player have? Looks like Winas actually has already completed his Blink, so he'll be using that to very good effect if he doesn't mess it up. But so far, both players are quite equally matched, with Court in a slight army supply and Winas in a slight worker lead. But nothing too game ending. Looks like Winas, he can't get through the tank. He's got a lot of tanks coming out from Court. Court's playing this very strategically. I like this. I like this from Court. He's just adding on more barracks, but it's 6 minutes now and he still hasn't built a 3rd base. So are we going to be seeing a 2-base all-in from Court? Probably. He needs to add on a couple more barracks, and he's going to be getting probably some more Widow Mines, since about 3 to 4 tanks is usually enough for the early game in PvP, especially when you're up against Stalkers and Gateway units, because Zealots, you know, Stalkers, that sort of thing, they can really just kill tanks very quickly. And since Winas's Stalkers actually have Blink now, tanks are going to be even more useless if they're not backed up with sufficient Marines and Marauders, of course. But Marauders probably the best counter to Stalkers, I would say. Where did Winas Stalkers go? The Stalkers go and hold this Selnaga Watchtower, whilst Court is preparing for his ultimate victory move. He's going to move out with this relatively, you know, medium-sized army, nothing too scary, but I mean, Winas doesn't have any shield batteries at home, and by the time he builds shield batteries, it'll probably be a little bit too late. Winas, maybe he notices this, and he's going to be building some shield batteries, but no, he's instead opting for extended thermal lance and a single random disruptor. These disruptors may be what make Winas be able to hold off this attack. I mean, that is a lot of bio units, and Court is approaching this a little bit cautiously. And does he notice the disruptors though? The disruptors may be able to deal a lot of damage, and Court, this Purification Nova is just barely touching the edge of those Marines, just taking out a little bit of Marines. But I mean, Court, he can't hold on to this position forever. He needs to make some kind of move. Indeed, he's building a bunker. He's going to try to wall the Protoss in, but unfortunately he just lost more bio units. What is Court doing? He's messing up big time. You can't have tanks there and all your bio units are dead, but tanks are going to hold on for a little bit more, but it's not enough. It's not enough. You can't have those tanks like that. You can't walk into Purification Novas like that. That's unacceptable. You can't do that. But meanwhile, the drop is happening. But only 3 probes have been killed. Winas's defense has been stellar so far. I commend him for his efforts. And Court is falling behind. Every second that he doesn't make a 3rd command center, or every second that he doesn't make use of this 2-base all-in, he is losing. And he's decided it's the last straw. He's pulling all of his SCVs. You need to pull more of your SCVs. Well, looks like he's going to be pulling a fair amount of SCVs. I'm not sure how many SCVs this is. Just quite a large amount. Maybe 8 or 9, 10 SCVs. But it looks like we're going to be doing the X-Men. You see, why is it called X-Men? Because X-Men strategy. One player goes this side and other player goes the other side. So it sort of makes an X. No, it doesn't make an X. Okay, what am I talking about? Anyway, the familiar classic strategy of moving out when your opponent is also moving out and then missing them entirely. That's the strategy that is being used right now. But Court is going to be a little bit of trouble if he doesn't get anything done with this attack. I mean, Wienez, he's recalling his entire army back home, and I think Wienez might have got it. Wienez, my man. Wienez. Oh no, the Colossi and the Disruptors are going to absolutely demolish the Spire Force. Court is holding on barely by the edge of his teeth, or whatever the idiom is, and I think that Court might have lost a little bit too much there. He's trying to make it work. I mean, what are the Liberators doing? Come on now. Mobile units. Throw them into the pit of sacrifice. Throw them into the Purification Nova and Colossi Thermal Lance pit of sacrifice. Just throw them all in like they're garbage. At this point, Court is just throwing away his Spire units like they're garbage, really. I think Court should have played this a little bit more thoroughly. And the Liberators are going to get a zone of Colossi out, so that buys him a couple of seconds of time, but Marauders are insanely good at this kind of stuff, but not good enough. Not good enough. And GG, the victory goes to Wienez from the NNK clan. Well done, Wienez. Well done indeed. Well done. Ooh, time to update the scoreboard now. So far it's 1-1. And first team to 3 wins wins the series, as is for best of 5. And I think the next map is going to be, the next game is going to be coming up shortly. So let's take a 5-minute break whilst we prepare and wait for our players to come online or whatever they might be doing right now. So see you in 5 minutes. See ya. Hello babies and dudes and dudettes. Welcome back. We're going to be heading into our 3rd game. Let's see if the scene is working. Yes, it's working. Let's go, baby. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Catalyst LE, where we're going to be seeing our story from the NNK clan, and my favorite name of all time, Moomin. Now, if you don't know what Moomin is, it's sort of a cartoon bear, I think. It's quite cute, I must say. Moomin the bear. And as to his name, this color is actually Moomin's color as well. If you don't know what Moomin is, just go Google it, for heaven's sake. Well, I will dismember you and decapitate you for not knowing what Moomin is. Very disappointed. But Moomin is going straight for the barracks. He's having none of that nonsense with cheese. So far we haven't seen a single cheesy game, which makes me a little sad, but hey, you can't expect for cheesy games every single game. Sometimes your standard run-of-the-mill tournament games are just your standard ladder games, you know? Everyone's just gonna play safe, macro up, that sort of thing. And beautiful thing about these tournaments is that the opponents, you don't really know the opponent in advance. And unless you play these tournaments very regularly, usually you just play the style that you would play on ladder. It's not like a high stakes tournament where you have Innovation versus TY or Dark versus Beyond, where each of the players already know the other opponent very well and sort of can do a little bit of mind tricks and mind games in there. But you know, these Alpha League team matches, team league matches, they're just your standard run-of-the-mill ladder games in a sense, but in a slightly more competitive setting, I suppose. But it's all done for fun, you know. It's all done for fun. Looks like Moomin's going to be stealing a little bit of those minerals from our story's potential third base. Clever, clever. He's stolen 5 minerals. That's going to make our story have 5 less minerals. Interesting. But Moomin is going to be starting up his second command center, and what is he going to follow this up with? He's going to be starting a factory. He's going to be doing all the usual stuff that Terran does, whilst our story is just doing the usual stuff that Zerg would do. So there's nothing special here. An Overlord is sent out this way. Probably a little bit too early to spot for drops, but hey, better safe than sorry. What is Moomin's plan and what is our story's plan? Looks like our story still isn't really going for third hatchery yet, and the SCV and Reaper are actually blocking his way. And actually, Moomin gets a beautiful snipe on that drone, and that means 1 drone less equals 1 drone less, and 1 drone less mining is bad things. It's bad, it's bad. And Moomin is just going to start macroing up. He's going to do a little bit of a Hellion opener, followed by a Starport. Is he going to be doing a Cloak Banshee? Let's have a look. He might be going for a Cloak Banshee. Ooh, I'm excited now. Or he could just be going for a little bit of Raven nonsense. The Ravens did recently get an auto turret range increase, I think, for the cast range. So I think it's 2 now, up from 1 previously. But hey, maybe we'll see a little bit of Raven auto turret harass. It's not good as before, but it still could work if you drop it like here, drop an auto turret like here, and then run away with your Raven into dead airspace over there. And the Hellions are going to be strafing across the map. What has our story got? He's got a couple of queens. He's got a couple of zerglings. And that's all basically. Whilst I think what Moomin needs is some mech in his playstyle. Is he going to go for mech? Maybe he's not. If he starts stim, then we'll all know that he's a bio-plebeian, unfortunately. Bio-plebeian. Initiate protocol for bio-plebeian. And indeed, Moomin is going for a biological based army. Very exciting game. It's going to be coming up. Let's see if Moomin can micro his marines a little bit better than Dark or Court. Just so far, these players, Dark and Court, have not been microing the marines to the best of their ability. Not sure whether Moomin can do the same, but hopefully he can, because, you know, Moomin's got the Moomin, and he's Cartoon Bear, so that gives him extra style points. But the Zerglings are going to try to scout a little bit of what's going on. and they do confirm that the third base is nearly being completed. You can see whether the third base is completed by looking at the health bar if you are the enemy. So if they're nearly full health bar, then the building is nearly complete. Looks like there's gonna be a ton more creep tumors going to be spread here. A ton more indeed. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad, but hey, got a lot of creep tumors, that's a good thing, right? Looks like Cloak Banshee actually got a kill, only one kill. One kill is not a good Banshee. Now this Banshee is going to be relegated to uselessness for the rest of the game, unfortunately. And a technologically advanced flying vehicle like the Banshee should achieve more in its life, and indeed it's going to start moving around, possibly to do a little bit of harass towards our story's first base. But the Spore Crawler is already in place, but the Banshee could technically get 1 or 2 drones off the gas geysers, but who knows, maybe Moomin's not up to the task. And our story is actually already establishing another base, whilst Moomin still a little bit behind on upgrades. He's, well, not upgrades wise. Upgrade wise, he's completed his stim, and he's just added on 3 more barracks now. But his third base is not even saturated yet. I wonder what Moomin is trying to do here. He needs to make a little bit more units. He needs to start getting rid of all this creep. If he doesn't get rid of these massive amount of creep tumors, they can be very problematic in the late game, because Zerg will have vision everywhere. Which is also a bonus for having a Raven. If you have a Raven, then you can use it to clean up creep with your initial Hellions. But it looks like Moomin is actually not going to opt for this, and instead he's going to opt for just, you know, standard bio tank play coupled with medevacs, which is quite respectable in my opinion. I'm not trying to downplay the bio style of play, but oh my god, these swarm hosts look so disgusting, look so spiky, and they're going to be doing an absurd amounts of damage. Look what the swarm host gonna do. Locusts are just gonna fly in here, destroy all these SCVs, and they're just gonna retreat back towards the bottom left corner of the map. But Moomin's doing a little bit of creep cleaning. It's a spring cleaning day, and these swarm hosts are actually in quite a bad of a spot. I mean, Locusts are gonna kill a lot of the Marines and Hellions, but I mean, hell, man. Those Locusts from the swarm host just absolutely decimated this wall here, which is quite a big pity, I must say. Where is Moomin's army right now? He's got 20 Marines. Where are the 20 Marines? They're all spread across the map. It's not exactly very good. They're spread too thin. Spread too thin across the map. This is the point where spreading butter on toast becomes unpleasant. There's like a line between the perfect amount of spread of butter and the amount of tastiness. If you make the butter too thick and you spread it across the toast too thick, then it becomes an oily mess. But if you spread the butter too thin, then it just becomes the taste of toast, and that's disgusting as well. And what Moomin is doing here is that he's spreading his Marines too thin. It's becoming unpleasant. It's just like eating raw toast. And remind me again, who actually eats raw toast? Nobody eats raw toast. That's disgusting. What would you consider eating toast on its own without butter, jam, peanut butter, Nutella, or whatever you'd like to put on your toast? I certainly do not like to do that. I mean, I don't like eating raw toast, actually. And it looks like Moomin's just continuing to build a lot of Marines, but his Marines are again spread too thinly across the map. Too thinly. Meanwhile, our story's creep spread is going right along, and Sobertech from the NNK clan in the observers is going to put an XD, and XD actually is sort of symbol, in case you didn't know. If you rotate it 90 degrees clockwise and you look at the X is a sort of symbol for the eyes being closed shut, I suppose, and the mouth is the D, like the mouth is the, okay, that sounded wrong. The mouth is the D letter, and it's supposed to be a very happy, you know, dropped jaw sort of emoji, I guess. Never understood why they chose X for the symbol, but it looks like this tank push is a little bit running out of steam here if he doesn't move up his tanks. And he's probably going a little bit too far on creep. And he actually doesn't siege up his tanks in time. And he might lose a little bit too many tanks. Or maybe not, or maybe not. Maybe the tanks are enough to hold on. Looks like it is enough to hold on. But the first Ultralisk is coming up. And what is our story going to do? I mean, what is Moomin going to do with these Ultralisks? These Ultralisks can just tank Marines for days on end. And with kindness placing done in around 10 seconds, this is going to be a world of hurt for Moomin. Well, looks like the 4th base of our story is going to be taken out. And can't help but think that, you know, our story's gotta pump up his game. He's gotta make a little bit more units. He's gonna counteract these units, and the Baneling's got a pretty good engage here. And because they were on creep, I think Moomin went a little bit too far on creep. But given that Moomin has the work lead and he's in the supply lead as well, you could forgive him for that. And he's got a planetary 4th base up and running. So again, very good for Moomin. Very good for Moomin. So far, our story has been playing a little bit cautiously. He's been spreading his creep quite nicely. He's got vision across like maybe 50% of the map. I'd say that's pretty good already. And our story's just gonna continue mining. He's gonna continue making some drones. He's gonna make some Vipers now in response to the tanks. But it might be a little bit too late. I mean, if you've tacked up to Ultralisk and suddenly you need to make a couple of Vipers and you only have 1 Ultralisk, that's a little bit concerning, you know. I don't think our story can actually properly engage until he has like 5 Ultralisks. But at which point Moomin's army is going to consist of more Marauders, and the Marauders with the new buff are pretty much going to shred the Ultralisk when in sufficient numbers, of course. I think Moomin is playing a little bit too greedy here. He needs to set up his tanks a little bit more forward. These tanks are far behind. They're not protecting the Marines at all. And oh my god, the Hydroling Bane Ultralisk army is going to be rolling right in. These Vipers are just going to stand there and do some blinding clouds on the tanks. And in fact, our story, well, he did take a pretty good engagement there. Or maybe it was Moomin's mistake to actually engage there. But it looks like a small Zergling Baneling counterattack actually took out quite a large number of SCVs, and at this point our story is actually starting to even out the economy with Moomin. I mean, Moomin, you've got a lot of medevacs, that's for sure. You shouldn't be making any more medevacs now. You should just be making more Vikings, more Liberators. And unfortunately, Vipers in large amounts actually absolutely decimate Vikings, so that's the problem as well. You can't make too many Vikings. You need to find a good balance between the number of Vikings needed to take down Vipers and the number of Vikings that won't die to Vipers. But I mean, with every second that passes, our story's army is looking more and more horrifying. I can't imagine the army getting more horrifying than this. With the addition of a couple of more Ultralisks and Vipers, Moomin's army is gonna have to put on one heck of a fight in order to defeat that Zerg army. And it looks like, oh my god, all the Liberators are yanked out of position, and the Banelings are gonna come in and connect with the siege tank. The blinding cloud lands on the siege tanks, and the Ultralisks are gonna lead the front. And our story's gonna back up for now, but he did kill quite a large number of tanks and Liberators there, so it was pretty good for our story. Good trade there. But Moomin's massive bio army. Ugh, this is a glass cannon build. I mean, if these Banelings just get good connections, the bio army's gonna melt. But it looks like Moomin might have just a little bit too much for our story. Just a little bit too much. The Marauders are gonna be pumping their way through. The Marauders actually deal a massive amount of damage to armored units now. And I mean, with these Marauders working away at a hatchery, yikes. And I believe hatcheries are armored as well, if I'm not mistaken, so that's even more terrifying. But the Vipers aren't exactly doing a lot of things right now. Ooh, F2 all army hotkey being used by our story here. Our story's in a severe supply disadvantage now, with Moomin nearly 50 supply ahead of Aristori. This is going to be difficult for Aristori to come back from. But Aristori, he's got like a good economy. He pulls the Liberators out of position again, but he simply hasn't got anything to deal with it. I mean, Moomin is just draining Aristori dry now. Moomin's got such a bustling economy. This economy has been really, really good so far. The macro from Moomin has been spot on, but Aristori, he might have taken a bad engagement too many times, and he's starting to have nothing left. I mean, 3 more Ultralists on the way. This could actually turn the tides of the battle. But unfortunately, I think that Aristori, he's spread too thin. He's spread too thin. His army's spread too thin. It's getting a little bit dire for Aristori here. I don't think Aristori knows the consequences or the dire consequences of this game, but Moomin's definitely in a heavy supply advantage, and with a large amount of Marauders just charging straight into Aristori's first base, I think that Aristori might have underestimated his foe. Moomin, he's just gonna get maxed out again. He's gonna get 200 supply and he's gonna march across the map. And Aristori's gonna have a very hard time dealing with this. A comeback, whilst possible, is unlikely, but both players played very well. So I mean, Moomin deserves the victory, but Aristori definitely deserves a I tried star as well. So well played to QTclub's Moomin. Well played indeed. Let's just update the score now. And with that in mind, QTclub is actually 1 game away from winning the series. Hooray! God, I'll be so pleased if QTclub actually won this series. But for now, we'll be on a short break, and when we return, we'll be right back with the 4th game of the series, and see you guys in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Never trust the break timer, since I never actually take a 5-minute break. It's more like 2 minutes. But just in case some of the players have problems, I always put the 5-minute timer there. But our 4th game is going to be coming right along, and it's going to be, let me just double check, sorry about that. I keep having to alt-tab because I have to make sure that stream's actually working. But our 4th game is going to be Sobotech versus Zayad. Zayad is my favorite Zerg player, and I seriously hope that he wins, but of course I'm not biased. What are you talking about? Anyway, it's Sobotech from the NNK clan versus QTclub's Zayad, a Zerg god. But I really dislike this drone skin. It's really disgusting. Okay, let's go. Round 4, go. Zayad, 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 Zayad. Can Twitch chat all cheer with me? Cheer for Zayad. cheer for Zayad. Zayad must win. Zayad. Even though it's going to be slim, I think. The chances of Zayad winning are actually quite low because Sobotech is a Master 1 and Zayad is a Master 3. So even though I'm rooting for Zayad, I'm hoping that he'll be able to take home a victory. I think Zayad needs to do a little bit of cheese in order to defeat Sobotech. I'm not sure how experienced and how much ladder games Sobotech actually plays, but hopefully Zayad will be able to outwit his opponent. But I mean, it's gonna be difficult. It's definitely going to be difficult. It is going to be a Terran versus Zerg on Dreamcatcher LE. And where is Sobotech building his barracks? No, he's doing a proxy barrack. Zayad needs to prepare for this. Zayad, please, my man, don't lose to cheese. Don't lose to cheese. Don't lose to cheese. Zayad has not got it. He shouldn't lose to cheese. Please, Zayad, don't lose to a stupid Reaper rush. Oh my god. But is Sobotech going for a very cheesy build? What else is Sobotech building? Oh my god, he's building a bunker. No, Zayad, please spot the bunker. Please spot the... No! Zayad doesn't spot the bunker! No! 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 Zayad! God, I'm coughing so hard. Now Zayad spots the bunker. Zayad must be in such a terrible position right now. I can't actually see Zayad's camera. He's like looking... Oh, he's saying, oh no, oh no, there's a bunker outside. Now the Reapers and the Marines are gonna get in the bunker and Zayad's going to be in an absolutely terrible spot here. I mean, oh my god, Zayad, please don't lose to a bunker rush. Oh my god, he's actually losing to a... What is this exactly? Let me see. It's just a standard Reaper actually. It's just 2 Reapers in a bunker, but this is enough to cause a lot of economic disruption. I mean, I think a Spine Crawler has same amount of range as a bunker, so I mean, Zayad is looking to min-max this, and the bunker can simply be salvaged, and the amount of economic disruption that this kind of bunker cheese puts onto Zayad is so significant. I mean, SCB's repairing it. I mean, Zayad could actually send in all of the Zerglings to kill the bunker, but the bunker certainly cost Zayad quite a lot of time. But Zayad actually has a lot of Zerglings now, and if Zayad simply just attacked now, I think he'll be able to do a little bit of economic damage. Whew. Thank God Zayad didn't lose to that. Thank you, Zayad. Can we all have a beastie clapper and a very nice emotes in the Twitch chat for that? Very nice, my Zayad. Go Zayad. And Zayad's Zerglings are actually going to get into the base, and he's going to avoid the bunker, of course, cleverly, but Sobotech closes the supply depot. Zayad just needs to kill the mules. Yes, kill the mules. Just sacrifice your Zerglings for the mules. I think it's worth it because, well, I guess if the mules are not mining, then technically it's worth it as well. Zerglings are sort of trapped here, but the mules actually aren't mining. Sobotech's a little bit distracted with his Reaper micro, so the mules are just hiding out there, not mining at all. But Zayad, he's doing quite good. He's so far in a 7 supply lead. Well, obviously that's going to close in quite a short amount of time, but Zayad's actually ahead in workers now. I'm very proud of Zayad. Zayad's actually going to make a 3rd base, and he's going to get that economy ball rolling and running. He's going to grasp that victory simply due to his better macro. Even though Sobotech has shown his relatively good Reaper micro so far, but it looks like Sobotech is actually going to follow BCQE's way. So he's going to be going mech to Sobotech. Why are you in the NNK clan? You need to join the QT club. Looks like Sobotech's going to just simply keep the Marines in the bunker for a little bit of additional defense whilst he tries to macro up to mech. But mech takes a long time to build. And with only 4 Hellions, Zayad's army might be quite large if he simply stops making drones and starts making units now. Zayad is actually going to pull ahead in the work count, and hopefully Zayad will be able to make a comeback. But of course, mules are totally unfair, and Terran should not have mules because so far the income is actually exactly the same for both players. so far, touch wood, I guess. But we'll have to see what Sobertech's going to do. It looks like the Hellions are posing a little bit of a nuisance to Zayat, taking out a couple of his drones here and there. But in the early parts of the game, throwing away Hellions isn't that optimal. But if they get a little bit of economic damage done to the Zerg, then it's worth it if you're going mech, of course. Looks like Sobertech's going for Cyclone, 2 tanks, and a couple more Hellions, as per usual. What is Zayat going for? Zayat's opting for a Baneling Nest, and he's following up that with a Lair and another hatchery. Wow, Zayat's going full macro. I mean, this map is made for macro games, but I didn't think Zayat would be taking his 4th base quite early, in fact. In fact, the 4th base is nearly complete, so Zayat is sort of rolling a die here. He's saying to himself, well, Sobertech needs a little bit of time to recover from his sort of delayed economy in early game. So, you know what, I'm gonna build 4 bases, like, nearly instantly. And he's gonna be starting up a Hydralisk then, very shortly. I'm not sure why Sobertech's building a couple of 4s. Maybe he's afraid of Mutalisks, but he's already got blind missile turrets. What's the point of Mutalisks? I mean, Sobertech's playing a little bit too defensively here. He's macroing up too slowly. These Hellions are just thrown away. I mean, Sobertech's a little bit too plucky. You know what I mean? He's still not expanding. He's got a 3rd base done, but he needs to start working it right now. And Zayat needs to make some sort of counter attack before Sobertech moves out with this massive mech army. I mean, this 2 base mech army, it's gonna be really hard to deal with. Zayat needs to spend off his resources very quickly, and I mean, Zayat's got a lot of workers, but he's got like a non-existent army. Where is Zayat's army? His army consists of 6 Hydralisks, but come on, where are the Hydralisks? Come on, the Hydralisks need to come out. He needs to get more Zerglings, more Banelings, or else he can't repel this attack. I think Zayat knows this, so Zayat should stop diverting his resources into making drones. Instead, he should actually start making a ton more army units. If Zayat's not actually aware of this, I think that he might be in a little bit of trouble. And I mean, 4s, you can simply, I mean, these are all mechanical units, right? You can simply drop mules on top of them. And oh my god, Sobertech is going to start dishing a little bit of that mech pain to Zayat. But hopefully Zayat has an answer. He's making a lot of Zerglings, which could be useful. But the Zerglings unfortunately get instantly deleted by the mech army. It's going to be quite hard for Zayat to hold on. But Zayat is looking a little bit in a tough spot right now. He's got a lot of Hydralisks. These Hydralisks could possibly take out this entire army. He needs to do that. He needs to attack with the Hydralisks before they take away the 3rd base, but no! The base goes down immediately and the Hydralisks are just left doing nothing, unfortunately. It looks like Zayat's gamble did not pay off. Zayat is really in a lot of pain right now. He's delaying the mech army, but I mean, he's really got nothing to offer here. Is he waiting for another round of Hydralisks and Zerglings? Perhaps he is. He's got a couple more Hydralisks on side, but I mean, can this actually clean up? Zayat's severely economically damaged, and these 4s have been dishing out massive amounts of damage whilst taking like no damage themselves. And I think that Sobertech's aggressive mech playstyle might have just won him the game here. I mean, it's a little bit tough to deal with this very durable mech army, especially in the early game, and Zayat actually has a base here, but I don't think that this is enough to come back from. I mean, Zayat's got nothing at home. His queens can't really defend against these huge 4s, and that will be the victory for the NNK clan. Unfortunately, Zayat tried his best. I'm proud of Zayat. Zayat gets the I tried star, of course. Oof, bad games. Unfortunately, QTclub is again tied 2-2 with NNK clan. Unfortunate, but necessary. When we're back, we're going to be doing the last and final game. Hopefully, it will be a little bit better in terms of game quality, but hey, who knows. But until then, see you guys in 5 minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final game of the series. The fifth and final game of today's Alpha Team League, brought to you by Coca-Cola Corporation, because that is what is giving me energy today. And the final game is going to be a Master 2 versus a Master 1 player. QTclub's Moomin versus Sobotech. In the bottom left, we have Sobotech. Give it up for Sobotech from NNK clan. Oops, I hit my mic there. And give it up for QTclub's Moomin. Our final game is going to be an exciting Terran versus Terran, where everybody's going to just drop everybody, and mech players are going to have a blast sieging up their siege tanks. But we'll have to see what kind of strategy they're going to go for this time. Sobotech, a Master 1 player. He's shown his expertise at playing mech, but is he going to go mech versus another Terran? We'll have to see. But I have faith in Moomin. Moomin has shown himself to be worthy of the QTclub title. But Sobotech is proving to be a very hard opponent to beat. Even Zayad couldn't beat Sobotech. Granted, there are league differences and MMR differences, but hey, it's just for fun, right? Technically, but everybody wants to win once in a while. It gives you a sort of self-boost and self-esteem. And Sobotech's actually going to be doing a little bit of cheesiness. He's going to be doing a sort of Reaper rush, maybe. He's building 2 barracks. I'm not sure what he's doing. But will Moomin spot it? Will Moomin spot the double barracks? I mean, double barracks can only mean Reaper rush here. I mean, look at the amount of distance that a Reaper has to travel. The Reaper only has to travel this short amount of distance to the opponent's base. I mean, they can just simply hop on and off the cliffs and get to the opponent's base in no time. It looks like that's what Sobotech is going to be planning to do. But I think Moomin, he spots the second barracks. What is Moomin looking at? What's Moomin looking at? Let's have a look at Moomin's camera. Oh, I'm gonna look at his barracks. Oh, I'm gonna look at my base. Oh, I'm gonna be looking. Oh, there's second barracks. Oh my god, there's second barracks. Oh my god, there's second barracks. What am I gonna do? Oh, I've got a factory. Oh no. Should I build bunker? Is this a Reaper rush? Is there a Reaper rush? I don't know what is a Reaper rush. Oh my god, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? Say Moomin. Oh my god, my Reaper just got killed by another Reaper. I've got nothing now. Oh my god, I need a bunker up immediately. I need a bunker. Where's my bunker? Where's my bunker? Where's my bunker? Where is my goddamn bunker? What are you doing, Moomin? Don't you know that opponent's making Reapers? Come on, did you not see the 2 barracks? Oh, it's right here. Moomin, what are you doing? Moomin, where's your barracks? Moomin. Why are you making goddamn Hellion? But he's not making a barracks. No, I mean he's not making a bunker. But with if Sobotech was planning on, you know, 3 racks reapering, he could have possibly won that. But Sobotech's unfortunately given up that kind of stuff, and he's not looking to do a Reaper rush per se. But I don't know what Sobotech was doing. He messed up his Reaper micro. But yikes, if Moomin saw like 2 barracks and he didn't react in time, I mean that's definitely a yikes in my books. Looks like Sobotech's going to opt for bioplay this game. He's not going for mech. Possibly because this map is a little bit too small for playing mech safely. But Moomin is looking to put on a little bit of aggression with his 2 Reapers and the Hellion. And Sobotech doesn't really have anything to deflect it. So he's just gonna let these workers slide. I mean, the Reapers can catch up to the Hellion, but Moomin is not really looking to kill that. But looks like Moomin actually nearly kills all of... Oh, no, Moomin, what are you doing with your Reapers? Moomin, what are you doing with your Reapers? You just lost your most important units of the game. Those 2 Reapers can be used to scout, can be used to harass, can be used to gain a lot of information about opponent, and you just gave the 2 Reapers up. I mean, those 2 Reapers were 100 Vespene gas in total, okay? You've got to understand that, and 100 Vespene gas isn't easy to come by. 100 Vespene gas nearly equals the gas required to make a tank, or a cyclone, or a Stimpak upgrade. So, I mean, throwing away those two Reapers was a big mistake. But it looks like Moomin's going to be doing a little bit of a cyclone drop. But what he doesn't know is that, well, this small amount of units is going to deflect a Cyclone Rush. I mean a Cyclone Drop very easily. What is this Cyclone Rush gonna achieve? Maybe cancel Stim. Focus the Tech Lab. Focus the Tech Lab right now. You're gonna cancel Stim. This is gonna be monumental. This is gonna be monumental. Denied. Stim Pack is denied for Sobotech. This was beautiful Cyclone Drop, but unfortunately not so beautiful micro of the Medevac. No, don't die, Medevac, don't. Oh my god, somehow even with the botched up micro from Movin, his Medevac and Cyclone managed to survive, but this Cyclone is with 8 health. 8 health. Ooh, that was quite a nice Stim Pack deny sort of thing. And I think if Moomin actually moves out with his Stim Pack completed, no, he hasn't even started Stim Pack yet. Nope. So basically what he did was deny the early Stim Pack that Sobotech was going for. And Sobotech's a little bit behind in upgrades, I suppose. Both players don't have a single finished upgrade yet, as you can see. But hopefully Moomin will get his Stim Pack done first, because Sobotech needs to rebuild the Tech Lab and he needs to research them all again. And believe me, building a Tech Lab does take quite a while as well. But what is Moomin gonna do? He's gonna send out a couple of Marines, but I don't think this is enough to counteract this. I mean, these Marines are there just to distract them, I don't know. That Cyclone needs to be repaired ASAP though. This Cyclone's health is 8 health. It's still at 8 health. He needs to repair that Cyclone ASAP. And maybe Moomin should look to play a little bit more aggressively, since he does have a short window of time where his Marines have Stim and his opponent's Marines do not have Stim. So possibly he could make use of that time window, but maybe he's not focusing on that too much. But let's have a look at the upgrades. I mean, so far Moomin's been getting his upgrades punctually, but I think +1 for Sobotech is going to be done a little bit quicker. I'm not sure why Sobotech is looking to move out so early, but Sobotech does have a small army supply lead. But again, Moomin's gonna do the same tactic again with repaired Cyclones, of course. He's gonna pick up and drop, but oh my god, are these Medevacs gonna intercept the Cyclone drop? But Moomin, he's got nothing at base. All his units are concentrated in this area, and if the drop manages to get into his main base, it's gonna be a world of pain. But thankfully, Sobotech's Stim is still not really that complete yet. And where did the Cyclone drop go? I can't really see it. Where's the Cyclone drop? Oh, here's the Cyclone drop. Cyclone drop's gonna do a little bit more damage again. He's gonna pick up and leave again. But I mean, look at Sobotech's backstab. I mean, this is gonna be substantial. Let's have a look at the Moomin cam. What is the Moomin cam doing? What's the Moomin cam? Oh, Moomin cam. Look at the Moomin camera. He's gonna recall all of his Marines. And note that Sobotech does not have Stim yet, but somehow he's managing to push through, and I think he's just gonna pull off his SCVs and try to defeat this Marine army. But I think that's a little bit too many Marines, and the Marines have 3 Medevacs. Ooh, Moomin, you just lost a lot of SCVs for absolutely nothing. This is quite yikes. But is attack going to be enough? I mean, simultaneously there is the Cyclone drop going on, so I'm not sure about that. But yikes, Moomin just lost a ton of his workers. But hey, then again, Moomin did manage to clean up. Moomin did manage to take a couple of workers from Sobotech as well. So these players are on even ground in worker count, except that Sobotech has a massive army lead. I mean, look at these Marines. They're just too many. Too many! How is Moomin gonna handle this? He can't handle this. He just can't handle it. There's not enough units here. There's simply not enough meat to get through the meat grinder. The amount of meat needs to be increased. He needs to start producing more Marines. I mean, Moomin is trying to build more Marines. His combat shield's nearly done, but with this is the victory move for Sobotech. He scans. He knows that there's absolutely nothing in Moomin's base except for those undefended tanks, and he's just gonna do a mass Doom Drop, and this Doom Drop is gonna absolutely decimate the barracks. Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. Oh my god! But if Sobotech runs into those tanks, it might be a different game, different story. But it looks like Moomin is going to be strategically destroyed by Sobotech's bio dropping. And well played to Sobotech. NNK clan takes the win for today. And unfortunately QTclub again loses. loses the Alpha Team League for today. So that means that QTclub hasn't won a single series in this entire non-pro tournament. But the players played quite well. I'm proud of them. So they get a I tried star again, of course. So that's that. I guess that's the whole series for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Those were some pretty close games. But unfortunately, the players from NNK clan were just a little bit too strong for the players from the QTclub. But QTclub, you did well, boys. You did well. You did quite well. I'm proud of you guys. So that'll be it for today. Well played to both clans. And if you're new to my channel, please consider following me and subscribing to my YouTube channel, where I post weekly casts of StarCraft 2 or Heroes of the Storm, depending on my mood. But for now, wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful day, a lovely evening, a lovely morning, or a lovely afternoon, and I bid you farewell. Bye bye.